President Trump today taking aim at the U.S. court system, saying in a tweet that it is, quote, broken and unfair after a federal judge put a hold on the administration's efforts to wind down the DACA program. That's the program for children who were brought into the United States illegally as kids, as minors by their parents. Joining us now from Capitol Hill, Kentucky Senator Rand Paul. He's a Republican member of both the Homeland Security and Foreign Relations Committees. Senator, thanks for joining us.
Good to be with you, Wolf.
So you have a good relationship with the president. Have you spoken to him personally about what exactly he wants in this initial immigration reform bill, possibly making DACA permanent?
You know, I haven't spoken to him recently about this issue or in the particulars. I've spoken with him in general about it, and I think he is open to a compromise. So am I, and I think many Republicans are. And I think that's the real question on this immigration. Will the Democrats compromise with us to find a solution? They have really wanted to fix this DACA problem. Conservative Republicans haven't been as excited about this, but are willing to come halfway, but they want to make sure that we fix the border at the same time. I think there is room for compromise on this.
Even though some of your conservative colleagues call it amnesty, you're still in favor of a compromise.
Well, see, what I've always said is about 1 million people come to this country every year, and if there's 1 million DACA children, as long as they take the spot of somebody that was already coming, why don't we just internally immigrate them? In other words, they would count towards the normal immigration totals that we have, and it really wouldn't be that hard to figure that out. I think that's a solution that could occur even for others within this group, is as long as they count towards the totals, as long as they're going to work. And I do think we need to fix some of the things the president has talked about. I think the diversity lottery, we should be replacing that with a merit-based system where, you know, there's 700 million people who want to come to America if they could tomorrow. Let's pick the best and the brightest of them, the ones we need, what categories of workers, and I think we could have a much better immigration system than we have.
Are you in favor, Senator, of spending $18 billion, that's in the proposed budget, on a border wall along the U.S.-Mexico border? And whatever happened to President Trump's promise that Mexico would pay for it?
Well, you know, I remain a fiscal conservative even on the wall, so I'm not excited about spending 20, 30, 40 billion dollars on a wall. I'm still a believer that we don't have money to spend. We're $700 billion in the hole. I heard from somebody the other day that said we built 2,700 miles of concrete barriers on our interstates, you know, all those noise control barriers. We've done that for $2 billion. So I think the price tag should be debated, and I think we can have barriers, and we will have barriers in certain places. I think we should also use technology, which is less expensive. But the barriers, I think we need to look at the cost of them. The people advocating for it are forgetting that they are fiscally conservative, and they're just giving just enormous numbers. So yes, I would look at the number very carefully, and while I will vote for money for barriers, I'm not voting for $40 billion for barriers.
You're not voting for all that, and you're not under the assumption that Mexico eventually will pay for it, are you?
I think the only way you could understand that to be true would be indirectly somehow, that you could say that we spend a lot of money on illegal immigration in our country, and I think that's the only way you could sort of imagine that Mexico would pay for the wall, is by eliminating some of the costs that we spend on people who illegally come into the country.
You have tied your budget vote to the Federal Intelligence Surveillance Act, FISA as it's called, more specifically Section 702 of the Act that, quote, authorizes the intelligence community to target the communications of non-U.S. persons located outside the United States for foreign intelligence purposes. How far, Senator, are you willing to go to block this?
Well, this program lets us spy on foreigners in foreign lands without any constitutional protections. I agree with that. If you are a foreigner in a foreign land targeting the United States, you don't get the protection of the Constitution. My worry is that they also collect information on millions of Americans, and I don't want that database to be searched without a warrant. And also, if you search that database that is supposed to be about foreigners, it should not be used for people accused of domestic crime. So the thing is we have to have the Constitution, we have to obey it for Americans. As long as we have those protections in place, the program can continue, and I will vote to allow it to continue. But right now, the reform proposal that the House committee has put forward makes it worse. It actually says that you can use that information to convict people of domestic crime, Americans. And so this would be Americans being convicted and violating their Fourth Amendment rights. I can't before that, and I will filibuster or do whatever it is to stop it. But there is a chance the House, my amendment with Senator Wyden, is going to be voted. It's the Justin Amash and Zoe Lofgren and other. It's their amendment over in the House. And there's a decent chance we actually win this battle. It's going to be very, very close.
I know it's a subject very, very important to you and a lot of your colleagues as well. Before I let you go, and I know you got to run, Senator, first of all, how are you feeling? We all were shocked by all of the reports that we read when a neighbor of yours, punched you and beat you up. Tell us what happened. How are you doing right now?
It actually wasn't an altercation. I was attacked from behind, unaware, never saw my assailant. So I wouldn't really call it an altercation or a punching or something like that. I was attacked from behind with hearing protection on, never saw it coming. I was severely injured, had 6 broken ribs, fluid around my lungs, pneumonia twice, pain, excruciating pain for several weeks, really for more than a month. I'm doing better now, and appreciate you asking.
You sound good, and fortunately, you sound a lot better. But I didn't realize as significant, as bad as it was. Do you know the motive of why this guy attacked you like that?
I think no one can ever know someone's motives. I don't know whether it was political or personal. And I guess to my mind, there's been a little bit too much emphasis in the media and too much concern over motive and lack of concern over me, to tell you the truth.
No, we're concerned. We're concerned about Senator. Trust me, we're very concerned about you.
I know, but that's my point is, if someone is raped, pillaged, mugged, it should be about punishment. And the person who did this needs to be punished. And whether or not they thought they were justified in their mind, there is no justification for attacking someone from behind, breaking their ribs, and really causing me life-threatening injuries.
But right now, you're okay? Is that what have you completely recovered, or you still have to go through more treatment?
I still have pain every day, all day, but I don't have, I had the pain of 1,000 knives for about 6 weeks. I could barely move, I could barely breathe, I couldn't sleep, and so I am better than I was, but I won't say I'm back to normal yet, but I am getting better.
Well, we hope you make a complete recovery. Awful situation. Senator Paul, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.